given the existence as uttered forth in the public works of Puncher and Wackman of a personal God. Quack, 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 quack. Quack, 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 quack. Quack, 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 quack.
I'm beginning to come round to that opinion. I'm beginning to come round to that opinion.
Who from the heights of the Twine Tambia, the Twine Asia, loves us dearly with some exceptions.
If I try to put it from me. St. Vladimir, be reasonable. You haven't yet tried everything.
Like the divine Miranda, plunge in Tom and plunge in fire, whose fire flames and attack continues and hoof and dog squid.
Hey, John. I gotta drop this thing down there.
And that I seek, like such a beast, with my little strength, such a beast, with nothing of its species left but fear and fury. No, the fury is past. Nothing but fear. Nothing of all its due but fear sentiment.
Yes, too nice. We might be able to do something with that. What time is the rehearsal?
About 8, I think. Hey, there's Pete and Ellie. Let's ask them.
Hello? Hello? Hey, what do you think of this for a bill for Vladimir?
No. I think it's a bit too nice, really. No, it's too light also. I prefer
Not shabby either.
Yeah. By the way, did you see John Sullivan?
Yeah, he's around the market somewhere there.
He's got a run still for God. Yeah, what time is it? We're just looking.
8 o'clock. Make sure of it.
Hello.
Hello. It used to be a school, but we converted it into a theatre with the help of the community. But I'd better introduce you to Mr. McMackey. He has been in the whole business from the very beginning. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Come on.
Hi, folks. Hi. Hello. Hello.
Okay.
How far are you done? Just finished now. Okay, leave the stage, you know. Get the stuff and get a table.
Well, Seán Kelly here, you know, he's got a special interest in this school. He's our business manager at the moment. Seán, tell Eric about it.
Yeah, well, I have a special interest in the place actually because I went to school here, you know.
To school?
Yes, this is where I got my basic education, and now I'm the business manager of the theatre here.
And we were really thrilled to get this place, you know, because we've been trying for all kinds of places, and this turned up to us like a gift from the gods. And it's remarkably interesting, very useful, and certainly great progress has been made here since we started.
Will you have a look inside?
Yes, please. Very nice. Thank you very much.
Well, Eric, this is the hall here, and these are pictures of productions that we did. O'Donnell, maybe you can explain him.
Oh, yes, indeed. Over here you have Geraldine McInerney, a housewife who played the part of Miss Julie. And with her in
Miss
the
Julie of Steinberg, is it?
That's right, yes, that's right. And with her there's Albie McCarthy, who is a sailor by profession. He plays the part of the butler in Miss Julie.
I see.
And over here centre ways then we have Mary Agnes Howrahan.
What does she do?
She's a school teacher, and she plays the part of the maid in Miss Julie. Next to her then we have Paddy McEnery, who is a saddler.
You really have all sorts of professions.
Oh yes, he plays a part of the proposal.
By Chekhov. Oh, and down there's an interesting article by Wolf Mankiewicz that appeared in the Irish Times about the theatre.
Oh, yes.
And he also claims that this theatre is a real people's theatre, you know, done by the people and for the people. Here is the corridor, and people in the intermissions, they get coffee served here. Yeah, no, we haven't got a license for that. But we've got pretty girls to serve it anyway. And this is the counter.
Yes.
And
Want to show the lights?
oh yes, I'll do that.
Oh, yes.
Hello, Mr. Sheldrup. I'll show you the lights.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Yes, we're very lucky with the lighting. We're looking for some cheap lighting, and I know there is an advertisement in the paper.
Oh, yes.
And we're able to get some dimmers and a couple of spotlights very cheaply.
Very lucky. Very lucky.
Yeah, so you're down here with me, yeah, here, and you go up that way, and you go up the stairs. Don't look at each other, and you know.
Yes, this is our dressing room here. As you can see, it's a bit untidy. As dressing rooms usually are.
But, Sean, it's only recently been built, is not that right?
Oh yes, it's only been built since last September.
Yeah.
It's just
Any
I'll
more
make some
planning
tea,
for
okay?
yes,
Only since last year, so.
yes, since last year, because there were some financial problems obviously at the start.
There has always been great interest in Bantry in theatre. Our friend Mr. Mackey here has been producing plays for quite a number of years, and he's also producer of the pantomime which we do every Christmas.
I see, yeah.
But we always felt that there was something lacking in the theatre here, and along came Ellie and Pete Cameraman. They're Dutch actors, of course, you know.
Yes, I know now. Yes.
And Pete was invited along to the local youth club to give lectures on drama, and it was there the seed was born. And there and then we realised that we needed a building of our own to put on our own type of theatre. So we went along immediately and got the building, and here we are.
We were a bit fed up with theatre. We'd roamed the world a bit. We'd been in Canada for 2 years, and we'd been in the Antilles for a couple of years, and we wanted to go and write, and that's really the reason why we went up the hills there and started to live here. After having lived for about 3 years there, we were invited to hold a talk for the Bantry Youth Club. And during that talk, Pete got this idea, this dream about how, you know, something in the way of theatre could be established here. And from there on, things started to develop. And
If you ask yourself, you know, how
in the
you
beginning, just
came to live in this country, you sometimes wonder, but I think it is actually very simple. On a holiday in 1965, I think it was, we spent here a fortnight in Bantry, and we were looking around, and we were so pleased with the people we met and the vicinity, you know, that the idea grew to find a place here. So we actually managed to find this house. We didn't know about qualities, but as soon as we came here, we felt it was the right place to live, and it has ever been since like that. Besides, we hoped rather selfishly that Ireland might inspire us in our own writing. After all, in world literature, Ireland is famous for its playwrights.
And Beckett is one of its most important ones at the moment. Beckett, in our opinion, has his roots still in Ireland, even though he's lived for years now in France.
Yeah, he never wrote about France, actually. He always refers to Ireland, and I experienced this because when we had bought the house, we still had to live in Holland, you know, to have some money to start a life here. And while working then, I really discovered the roots, and I think he is just Ireland. I remember the first night that we ever talked about the theatre was on invitation of the youth club, and there were a few adults there, among others, Father Keown, Mick Mackey, Mick Dennehy, who has played 3 parts in the play, and
Mick has played a very great part in
Yes.
everything, apart from playing parts in plays, you know.
And he always kept believing in the idea.
I was always interested in theatre as one of the audience, but as an agricultural officer in what is considered a remote rural area, I could not foresee myself getting involved in drama productions at this stage of my career. I personally saw much in this idea. I got involved and have been involved in the production of 3 plays. I can't imagine life in this area now without the theatre.
And we wanted to have a theatre which was an open theatre where everybody from the surroundings could participate and be a part of. And I think it's developing nicely as far as I can see up till now anyway.
Well, now you two, let's try this a little bit as we've rehearsed it before. You know the moves. You start sitting here and you're the king. You sit regally and you give her this line about the happiness. You're trying to sell her.
We had somewhat similar reasons for selecting Antigone and the Dragoons, strong resemblances to conditions in Ireland. In Antigone, there, well, one could describe it as being analogous to the situation in the north of Ireland, where law and order, so geared, so-called, were geared to the one section as opposed to the other. And ultimately, of course, the weaker section were forced into rebellion.
So look down at him all the time. You're despising him. So we need to see this in your stance all the time. All right? Now we've been through this in rehearsal. Let's try and give it the feeling of a performance. Okay? Fine. Good luck.
Action. Life is nothing more than the happiness we get out of it.
Happiness?
Not much of a word, is it?
What kind of happiness do you foresee for me? Paint me a picture of your happy Antigone. What are the unimportant little sins that I shall have to commit before I'm allowed to sink my teeth into life and tear happiness from it? Tell me, to whom shall I have to lie? Upon whom shall I have to fawn? To whom must I sell myself? Who do you want me to leave dying while I turn away my eyes?
Antigone, be quiet!
Why do you want me to be quiet, when all I want to know is what I have to do to be happy? This minute, since it is this very minute that I must make my choice. You tell me that life is so wonderful. I want to know what I have to do in order to be able to say that myself.
Do you love Haman?
Yes, I love Haman. The Haman I love is hard and young, faithful and difficult to satisfy, just as I am. But if what I love in Haman is to be worn away like a stone step by the tread of the thing you call life, the thing you call happiness, if Haman reaches the point where he stops growing pale with fear when I grow pale, stops thinking that I must have been killed in an accident when I'm 5 minutes late, stops feeling that he is alone on earth when I laugh, and he doesn't know why. If he too reaches the point where he has to say yes to everything, I know then no, I do not love Haman.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about.
Well, I was always interested in theatrical work. And I'd done many plays now since I was about 20 years of age, 18. In a very amateurish way, of course. I came here to Bantry then in 1950, Fool's Day, 1st of April. And I got stuck here then in the pantomimes. And the first pantomime we'd done was Little Red Riding Hood. And I'd done the dame in it. I was nice and slim, of course, at the time. I mean, and I'd done several other little plays then with Mr. Mackey outside this, you know. I think I'd done several other small little plays with him, but it was just for a bit of fun, but we never got really interested in it until Mr. Cameraman came along. I mean, he was the man then, I mean, just we learned more from him in one play than we did. I mean, he just one wave of his hand, and you know. We were about 12 months, roughly around 12 months, fixing it up. We worked Sundays after lunch, and painting it up and trying to give it some bit of a colour. And nobody paid for anything; it was all voluntary. And we got off anyway to a flying start with Nicholas Gogol's play The Marriage. It was tremendous success, and we really enjoyed it. Every individual really, and Pete Cameraman is a grand man to work for the simple reason that he knows exactly what he's doing you know what I mean? We had no idea of theatrical work. We were all just really amateurs, and we didn't care less, you know. But I mean, Pete wanted professionalism, and he almost got it from a complete ignorant crowd of people, if you want to know. You know.
Where? There on their way, we know that. Spit it out, Florrie, will you?
How will you say it, Florrie?
How could I ever marry you if you can't even cut
Do you hear that, Mary Carney? And he pointing away here for the love of that tramp? They couldn't be inside the 10 miles, and that's the case of me before that. All right.
Where?
In the village, at the end of the village already. Two men are spotted, and they don't spotted anymore. Oh, Greg, I'll imagine down the horse, piled up ready to be confiscated.
And Michael and Eilish.
If they hadn't taken the shortcut, I'd be here by now. But they'd gone together, and God alone only knows, and they'd appear again.
Then the dragoons, that was the situation of an invading army. And of course we in Ireland are used to invading armies. We've had too many of them, God knows. And you had, as it were, the confrontation of two anonymous groups at the moment, a nameless army, a faceless army, and the villagers. But ultimately, when the two groups did get together, they realized that they had one thing in common, that was humanity. They were in fact all human beings.
Didn't we carry on the same way, Martin, when we were young?
Of course we did, but I had hot blood. But when my father told me to deliver something, I delivered it straight away without even a thought of my own enjoyment.
Well, seeing that everybody's going to leave me in the lurch, I go by myself. I won't be seen leaving this place without my son beside me and the one he chose to be his wife beside me.
I'll go, Mary.
Come along.
Our second play was Waiting for Godot, which we'll be showing tonight. Bill, I think you have met him at the fair already this morning. Yes. He gives a beautiful performance of Vladimir in this play. And he is married to Geraldine, who was also very much involved. She played Miss Julie in Strindberg's play and is also very busy with public relations.
Letter to Mr. G. Nowd, K&N Distributors. Dear George, thank you for your letter received yesterday. I will look forward to your comments on this matter. Best wishes, yours sincerely, G.F. McInerney, Roa Ireland Limited. Hello? Oh, Gerald, yes? The blocks have arrived. Fine. And the cartons are going okay? They'll be ready for August. Fine, thank you. You could say I was a founder member of the theatre. I've always been interested in acting, and I thought this was going to be a tremendous opportunity. And I could see myself, you know, pacing the boards in Gortycloona day after day. And I was telling Bill about it, you know, and he said, oh, well, look, as long as they don't ask me to act, I'll clean and paint and scrub, but don't ask me to act. And I thought, oh, great, he can clean and paint, I'll act. So they asked Bill to act, and they asked me to clean and paint, and the roles are reversed. So for nearly 2 years, I did the scrubbing, or helped with the scrubbing and the cleaning and the public relations. I did all that, and for a year I was secretary, but I never got to get my foot on the stage at all. And in the meantime, Bill was doing Waiting for Godot, and for 3 months I didn't see him, and we were I was threatening a Gortycloona divorce. But anyway, eventually, when Godot was over, Pete came to me and said, we're thinking of doing Miss Julie, and I thought, great. So he asked me if I would do Miss Julie, and I was really thrilled about it. So then I went home and I said to Bill, Pete wants me to do Miss Julie. And he said, that means a lot of rehearsing. I said, that means a lot of staying at home. So he said, okay, fine. So then we started to work on Miss Julie in September, and it was fantastic. Albie was absolutely terrific to work with. He hadn't ever been on the stage before. I had done a little, but he hadn't been on at all, and he was terribly shy to begin with, but it was absolutely fantastic.
Come on, my girl, and I'll treat you to something special.
Where did you get that wine?
The cellar.
My father's burgundy.
Well, can't a son-in-law drink it?
And I'm drinking beer.
That only shows your tastes are lower than mine.
Thief!
Are you going to stop at you and try?
Thrown in my lot with a thief. I must have been drunk or walking in my sleep on Midsummer's Eve, the night of innocent fun.
Innocent? Well.
Was anyone else ever as miserable as I am?
What have you got to be miserable about? You've done very well for yourself. What about Christine? How do you think she'd feel?
Now I used to think a servant had feelings. Now I know a servant's a servant.
And a whore's a whore.
God in heaven, take my wretched life. Save me from the filth into which I'm sinking. Save me, oh, save me.
I don't mind admitting I feel sorry for you. When I lay in the onion bed at time inside in the rose garden, I tell you straight, I had the same dirty ideas as other boys.
And then you wanted to die for me.
In the open? That was all talk.
You mean it was a lie?
More or less. I once read something of the sort in the paper. A chimney sweeper who shot himself in the chest full of elderflowers because he couldn't pay a maintenance order.
So that's the sort of man you are.
Well, I had to think of something. Women like that sort of talk.
Brute.
No.
And now you've seen the back of the hawk.
Well, not exactly its back.
So I had to be your lowest branch.
And the branch turned out to be rotten.
I'm to be the signpost to your hotel.
I'm the hotel, though.
To sit in your office, attract your customers and fake your bills.
No, I'll see to that myself.
To think that a man could sink so low.
You speak for yourself.
You servant, lackey, stand up when I speak to you.
You service tart. You slut. Shut your mouth and get out of here. You're a nice one to come negging me about hoarseness. No girl in my walk of life ever made herself as cheap as you did tonight. Why, even the meanest skivvy wouldn't throw herself at a man like that. Did you ever see a girl in my class carrying on like that? I've never seen the likes. Except in the farmyard or on the streets.
And that's how I became involved with Miss Julie.
Well, Pete asked for volunteers and I went along to the theatre and to give a hand in the painting and general maintenance of the place. I had no intention whatsoever of ever being on the stage or taking part in a play. But eventually he encouraged me very strongly to take a part in Miss Julie Stringberg's play. And I didn't know anything about it, but during the rehearsals, of course, I was discovering more and more what the play was all about. And especially in the treatment of Miss Julie and the maid Christine. I had some funny moments in learning my lines. My workmates must have thought I was mad because every now and then I would pull this book out of my back pocket. And of course they didn't know what I was doing. They probably thought it was Lady Chatterley's Lover or Peyton Place or something. A week before the opening, still during the rehearsals, I felt that I couldn't go on. I was very nervous up to, especially on the opening night, because I felt it was a tremendous challenge to play such a part. But, you know, it turned out all right, I think.
There was quite a lot of interesting reactions, though. You remember Wolf Mankiewicz came and he gave us quite a big write-up. And then people were wondering what kind of plays could we put on in a converted theatre, whether they be outlandish plays, whether they be peculiarly Dutch plays, or what kind of plays there were. Then the Russians heard about us and they came over to televise us. And the Dutch, for instance, the Dutch came all the way from Holland.
I think it might be interesting to hear Mr. Sheldrop's view on the whole thing. He has been part of the audience. He had a similar theatre, more or less, in London. And how came the project across to you?
Well, to begin with, people would have said impossible to make a disused school into a theatre. And 3 miles out from a town. Would anybody come to it? But the reason why it succeeded are manifold. First of all, owing to our friends, Ellie and Pete.
Well, many others.
Yes, I think that was the main thing, that they had experience in the theatre in Holland. And with their experience, they were the right leadership. That's the first point I have.
Yeah, but I don't think that you ever could have established such a
Well,
theatre.
you see, the main thing is that a general can't work without his troops. And you are fortunate to find plenty of acting material, people who had a natural acting gift.
Yes.
And not only
volunteers, Pete, no conscripts.
No, that's the idea, you know, to keep the voluntary business where everybody can really participate. Yeah.
I really think there's this sense of involvement in the whole thing that helped to build it up, because whether one was on stage or making coffee, you felt involved in every show that went on, and you felt as important as the one who was on stage.
And the marvellous voluntary help to build the theatre to begin with, and then to provide all the scenery.
Well, we've tried always to get as many people involved, and we've never made any difference between either the people that were acting or serving coffee or helping with technical things like, you know, a lot of people have been serving coffee and scrubbing floors before they ever got a chance to get on the stage.
Still, me have to go on.
Geraldine.
What poem did we do last week? No. What poem did we do last week? What was it? The squirrel. Did you like it? And who knows it? Who can say it? Oh God, you free. Who can say it for us?
The squirrel, frisky, frisky, hoppity hop, up he goes to the treetop. Twiddly, twiddly, round and round, down he scampers to the ground. Furly, curly, what a tail, tall as a feather, broad as a sail. Where's his supper? In a shell. Snappity, crackety, out it fell.
Good girl. That's wonderful altogether.
Initially, I joined the group to take part in a particular play. I confess I wasn't very enthusiastic about being committed to yet another dramatic society. But I had begun to think, and this was quickly verified, that here was not merely a dramatic society, but a project which envisaged a training ground for actors, directors, painters, stage managers, etc. And many of the plays chosen for production in this theatre are adventurous in this way, and this I feel is a good thing and cannot fail to contribute and explore the realm of real, worthwhile drama. That is why I hope this venture in theatre will continue to be so successful.
I find it a great let off from the humdrum of life. It's a form of escape, and you get on stage there and you forget you're working in a shop or an office or that, you know.
But one of the most things is that we shouldn't make it a holy thing. You know, when people start to talk about a movement like this, it becomes so holy, and it's just a practical thing. And we have practical people that you know, lead us, you know, on our road to better performances and better acting. We are not that good yet.
No. I was going to say that if you have a row at home, you can do it with better dramatic effect.
But I think, like Seán, for example, we'll get him on the theatre, on the stage eventually. He's been involved with lights, and at the moment he's our business manager, but I think we'll get him on the stage eventually.
The 20th century America.
Given the existences of the fort and the public works, the puncher and watchman of a god, quack, 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 with white beard, quack, 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 outside time, outside extinction, who from the heights of the fine Tambia, the fine etage loves us dearly, with some exceptions for reasons unknown, but time will tell, and suffers like the divine Miranda, plunged in Tamman, whose fire flames and that continues, and who can doubt it will for the firmament. That is to say, blast hell to heaven, blue still so calm, with a calm even though intermittent is better than nothing, but not so fast, and considering what is more, that is the result the man in essay, the man in short, the man in brief, in spite of the strides of alimentation and defecation is seen to waste, pine waste, and simultaneously concurrently what is more, that the result of the practice of physical culture, the practice of sports such as running, jumping, dying, flying, sports of all sorts, in a word for reasons unknown, but time will tell, and so like the divine and the plunge and torment was fire flames, and that continues, and who can doubt it will for the firmament. That is to say, blast hell to heaven, blue still so calm, with a calm even though intermittent is better than nothing, but not so fast. And considering what is more, that man in short, that man in essay, that man in short, that man in brief, in spite of the strides of alimentation and defecation is seen to waste, pine waste simultaneously, concurrently. What is more, that is the result of the practice of physical culture, the practice of sports such as running, jumping, dying, flying, sports of all sorts, tennis, hockey of all sorts, in a word for reasons unknown.
Mr. Albert.
Off we go again. Do you not recognize me?
No, sir.
Wasn't you came yesterday?
No, sir.
This is your first time.
Yes, sir.
You have a message from Mr. Gatto?
Yes, sir.
He won't come today.
No, sir.
Will he come tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Without fail?
Yes, sir.
Did you meet anyone?
No, sir.
2 other men?
I didn't see anyone, sir.
What does he do, Mr. Gatto? Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Well?
He does nothing, sir.
How's your brother?
He's sick, sir.
Perhaps it was he came yesterday.
I don't know, sir.
Has he a beard, Mr. Gatto?
Yes, sir.
Fair or black?
I think it's white, sir.
Christ have mercy, miss.
What am I to tell Mr. Gatto, sir?
Tell him Tell him that you saw me. And that you saw me. You did see me, didn't you? You won't come back tomorrow and tell me you didn't see me?
How long have they been working on this?
Well,
Do you know?
This is one of the wonderful things here. You see, there is no time schedule as such. The work goes on until it is ready, and when it is ready, then comes the production. And it seems to make a fantastic difference. The very fact that you don't have any schedule, there's no commercialism whatever involved in the theatre. So you get this spontaneity, you get this magnificent feedback from the work of a great Irish literary tradition coming back from the very people that the work is written about.
No need to shout. You.
Oh, pardon.
After you.
No, after you.
Oh, no, you first.
I interrupted you.
On the contrary.
Ceremonious ape.
Punctilious pig.
Finish your phrase, I tell you.
Finish your own.
Moron.
That's the idea. Let's abuse each other.
Moron.
Vermin.
Abortion.
Morpion.
Sewer rat.
Curate.
Cretin.
Critic.
Oh.
Now, let's make it up.
Go. Edie, your hand.
Take it.
Come to my arms.
Your arms.
My breast.
Off we go.
How time flies when one has fun.
What do we do now?
While waiting,
While waiting.
we could do our exercises,
Our movements.
our elevations,
Our relaxations.
our elongations,
Our relaxations.
to warm us up.
To calm us down.
Off we go.
I'm tired.
We're not fit. How about a little deep breathing?
I'm tired breathing.
You're right. Let's just do the tree for the balance.
The tree.
Your turn.
Do you think God sees me?
You must close your eyes.
God have pity on me!
And me!
On me! On me! Pity on me!
It's a pity, but there it is. Fear of sound, fear of sounds. The sounds of beasts, the sounds of men. Sounds in the daytime, and sounds at night. That's enough.